Hello, my name is Mary Burke. I'm a professor of English at the University of Connecticut, where I direct the Irish Literature concentration. Stacked behind me right here are some of the works I'm going to draw on today in this short talk on the matrilineal in Joseph Sheridan Le Fanu's Carmilla. I have a forthcoming book on race, Irish America and the Gothic, and in it I discuss the doppelganger motif in Irish and Irish-American Gothic fiction. This uncanny double is often connected to an unsettling portrait of a male ancestor. However, as you can see, I'm choosing to sit in front of a foremother figure, as I wish to lay out how Carmilla subverts the male ancestor portrait theme and, in doing so, undermines the heteronormative and the patrilineal. Ireland has one of the oldest traditions of hereditary patrilineal surnames in the world, and even some of its so-called invader surnames are 1,000 years old. These traditions make the Irish male line what my book calls ancestor-haunted. In an Ireland and an Irish America that was divided by ethnic and religious difference, the father's lineage and surname are, as Gothic fiction often reveals, inescapable curses. The obligatory allegiances and prejudices that are inherited along with the father's name allow for little autonomy in the Gothic fiction of settler-colonial Protestant Ireland and Protestant Ulster America, that is, Scots-Irish America. And by the latter, I mean, in this context here, Edgar Allan Poe and Henry James, who were both of Ulster Presbyterian origin on the father's side. In the first Gothic novel in Anglo-Irish tradition, Maturin's Melmoth the Wanderer, John Melmoth, of settler-colonizer family, finds a portrait of a male ancestor with his exact name, who is immortal because of a pact with the devil. In Poe's William Wilson, the young man of the title is stalked by a seemingly distantly related schoolmate with the exact same name. At the close, the enraged Wilson murders his double, after which a large portrait or mirror appears from nowhere, and in which he sees his own image, but with features, quote, all pale and dabbled in blood. Similarly, in Henry James's The Sense of the Past, Ralph Pendrel is bequeathed a house by a distant relative. There he discovers a haunted portrait of his male ancestor, almost inevitably, of course, called Ralph Pendrel also, and ultimately he takes on his doppelganger's identity. Moreover, in James's own Wingrave, the male ancestor in the portrait stirs with disapproval on the canvas once the young man of the title rejects the patrilineal heritage. These Gothic fictions by Maturin, Poe and James are in contrast to Le Fanu's queer vampire novella, Carmilla. The seductive vampire of the title is from the ancestral Karnstein line of Laura, her willing victim. However, Laura only slowly realizes the blood tie to Carmilla because the pair are connected on the mother's side. In other words, Carmilla and Laura share the Karnstein blood, but not the Karnstein name. The 1698 portrait of the Countess of Karnstein looks like Carmilla because they are one and the same. Looking at that portrait, Laura discloses, I am descended from the Karnsteins. That is, Mama was. The use of a female ancestor portrait makes Carmilla a rare exception to the oppressive patrilineal and heteronormative male doppelganger portrait theme of Irish and Ulster-American Gothic. Writing in the 1980s, Irish-American feminist Jane O'Reilly lamented, "We women are the people who lose our names when we marry, the also-rans of recorded history, the unidentified half of mankind. We move incognita in our own culture." Arguably, the identities of women of Irish descent who married across Irish ethnic or denominational lines were particularly effaced given Irish culture's traditional certainty regarding the allegiances conveyed by surname. Nevertheless, Carmilla explores the possibilities of such effacement, since the obscuring of Laura's mother's family name allows the vampire in initially. Henry James's father was called Henry James, and Poe's father and grandfather were both called David Poe. I'm going to conclude by noting that it is striking that, by contrast, the name Joseph Sheridan Le Fanu is imprinted by a matrilineal line. Sheridan was a surname from Le Fanu's mother's side.